Welcome to Black Hole Woodworking. My name's Matt. I am making frames today out of firewood. It's around the minus 40 range right now outside. The garage is a lot better though. First thing I'm doing though with the log that I selected is to try and get two kind of square edges. That way I can run it through the bandsaw and actually mill a piece of lumber that I can use. So after the bandsaw, I try and get that flat edge at the jointer. And then I'll get the other side at the jointer. The thickness of board I want is 3/4 inch, so I can get that at the bandsaw quite easily. And then after the bandsaw, I take it back over to the jointer to get that kind of flat face once again. After that face is set up, I make the parallel face on the opposite side with the planer, and here I make 1.5 inch width strips, and these will be kind of the final dimension in width and depth for the frames. Then after this, it'll just be about cutting the miters. I gotta say that even though I'm wearing gloves, I'm very conscious to keep my hands way back from the blade. It's, again, like I said, like really, really cold out here, so there's no way I'm doing woodworking without gloves in this weather. To cut my miters, I'm doing that on the table saw with a sled. You'll see I have a 1 and a 2. As long as I have a 1 and a 2 on each adjoining corner, then they'll cancel out any errors in my angle that I have on the sled. So I'm just going to mark out my pieces here so that I know which 1 or 2 they're going to get, and then it makes it so much easier to keep track of. So that's obviously the one side, and the second side happens just like that. I actually made a mark on the bottom of my sled so that I could just set up the pieces there, and it's almost like having a stop block, but it's not a positive stop, it's just sort of there, and I can see it. And here I'm putting a notch in the back of the frame piece because I want to inset a picture, and I want to inset a backing for the picture. So I think I went about 1/4 inch deep, maybe even a little bit more than that. Here I'm gluing and clamping them up because, well, they're going to be 45 miters, but I'm also going to put splines in them later. And yes, this is another one of the island takeovers. All clamped up. Just got to make sure it's nice and tight and all the wood is at the same level. I do that by pushing it onto the countertop. That non-stick surface is really nice for this. I hobbled together a really simple miter sled, and basically I'm just sticking the frames in there and cutting a slot into them on all 4 corners. That way it'll give it some strength. And that's my sort of, what am I doing? Well, I cut some of these things, whatever they're called, that I'm going to put into these slots. I find it's really important to get these little guys full of glue. That way they'll kind of swell up just a little bit, fill in any gaps, and just make a really strong bond so these frames will never come apart. Sometimes I make them a little too big and I wish they would swell more, and other times they just fit nicely. So after that, I trim off the excess wood on the bandsaw because trying to sand all that is just not going to happen. At least not with the palm sander. And then it's sanding time. Obviously everybody's favorite part of woodworking. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed yet, and I've earned it, thank you very much for subscribing. This is the final product. Well, somebody else wanted to get in the picture first, but it worked out great, if you can see it.